Fitness. Fitness in the convenience of your own space. And at 53 years old, my mission and my purpose and why is to be the best version of myself today so that my future self says thank you. So, what are we talking about? What are we doing? What am I doing here? We are just having a conversation about how to make your body feel better. Are you tired of feeling tired? Are you tired of feeling blah? And you just want to make some changes to feel better? Well, you came to the right place. So the information that I do give you, remember, this disclaimer is that this is not medical advice. This is just us having a conversation. Please always consult with your physician or doctor before you start any type of supplementation. So this is not to supplement medical. You know what I mean. Like, do not supplement what I say. Don't just do what I say, but I'm giving you information. All right, let's talk. So I'm 53. I deal with thyroid disease. I've been dealing with thyroid disease for the last 25 years, and my mission is to try and heal my thyroid. And for those of you that don't know what thyroid does or don't know anything about thyroid, it's a gland that sits in your here above, in front by your vocal cords. It controls almost everything in your body, from your weight to your skin to your mood to your hair. Everything, it controls it all. And when your thyroid isn't working really well, we have things that will start to go wrong anyway. So I've been dealing with this for 25 years. Now, I've done a lot of different things to try and heal my thyroid. And as far as I've always been told, is that once you're on synthetic medication, and once you're on a medication, you're not coming off that medication. I was on a synthetic for 23 years, a synthetic. I have since switched to a desiccated thyroid medication, which comes from a pig's dehydrated thyroid, and that's what I take. It is prescribed by a doctor. And since I switched over and switched my diet, I've actually lowered my medication by half. So that's something of interest to you. I have lowered it by half. So the things that I don't do, I don't consume alcohol. I haven't had alcohol in 4.5 years. Now, I made that choice because of trying to heal this. And actually what I did was I did a 75-day challenge where you couldn't have alcohol for 75 days. And I thought, well, what the heck, I might as well just keep on doing what I'm doing. So I never went back. I didn't find a purpose for it. And so, thank you. So I also took caffeine out. So I took caffeine out 3.5 years ago because there's something that caffeine does to your thyroid, whether, and depending on how much caffeine are you drinking, and are you drinking it on an empty stomach, or are you drinking it just when you've been eating? Good morning. The thing is, you are creating, like your adrenaline's going up when you have coffee, if you have too much caffeine. And your endocrine system is connected. So your thyroid, your adrenal glands, it's all connected. So we want to take care of these so they work hand in hand. So my mind went to, okay, so if I'm trying to fix my adrenal glands, so I need to take care of them. So that's why I took the caffeine out. So I don't drink caffeine. I drink decaffeinated coffee. Love it. It's so good. The other thing I thought about is that depending on the types of workouts that I'm doing. So I do the low intensity. I do strength training, but I don't do any really high, hard, intense, like things that are going to cause me to have adrenal fatigue. I'm very cautious about that as well. So I've changed that up. I did CrossFit for over 10 years. Over 10 years I did CrossFit, and I also coach it. Anyways, so those are the things that I've done. I've also increased what I'm eating in fat. Your thyroid needs fat. And I for many years I was on a low fat diet. It was high carb, low fat, and moderate protein. And I was probably getting about 30 grams of fat per day, about 250 grams of protein, of carbohydrates. And I, now knowing what I know about insulin and what I know about insulin resistance and glucose, I'm completely the opposite. And I've been doing this for a 1.5 years, and I have lowered my thyroid medication. My cholesterol levels have come down, and it's remarkable, the things that have happened. It's everything. So anyways, that's a little bit of what I've done. So thank you for joining me this morning. If you have any questions, or if you're wondering about something, let me know. So like I said, I've been dealing with thyroid for 25 years and always on that mission to try and heal it. And so when we're taking in a synthetic, the synthetic actually doesn't heal it. It just helps to produce that. It's T3, it's T4, it turns into T3. I always just like get that mixed up. It's T4. No, the pills are T4, it turns to T3. The pills are T3 to one of those two. But it doesn't heal it. It just maintains it. And so when I switched over to the desiccated, it was like way better. And I'm on half the medication now. So that's been good. The other thing, okay, so when you like, let's have this discussion. Are you tired? Are you exhausted? Like, do you have like that brain fog going on? Are you just kind of like going through life going, I'm just so tired. I'm tired. I'm exhausted. Are you tired of feeling tired? Like this, it's this never ending thing. And so what I've learned is that we have within our body. So every time we have a glucose spike, okay, think about this. It spikes up and then comes back down. So that means like when you are eating things that cause your body to increase the glucose, okay, when your glucose goes up, that's carbohydrates, number one. That's sugar. So what are carbohydrates? People say, oh, I don't even know what carbs are. Okay, so carbs are anything that is not a meat, okay? It's not meat or an oil. Think of that. Okay, so carbs, you have pasta, you have bread, you have pastries, you have desserts, you have sugar, you have fruit, you have vegetables. Those are your carbohydrates. Think of that, okay? So that produces glucose and that burns the fastest. It'll go fast, all right? Now, if you eat too much carbohydrates, if you eat too many carbohydrates, do you know what happens? Your body will turn the leftover carbohydrates into fat, goes straight to fat. And you know what kind of fat it is? It's a trans fat. So when you consume too many carbohydrates, now I want you to think about this. I want you to think about your favorite pasta restaurant that you go to, or you have a restaurant with pasta. When they bring you a serving, what does it look like? What do they bring you when they bring you a plate out? Is it this amount? Or is it this amount? Now, when your body can only break down so many carbs and then it goes to fat. Think of that. And you can't, and it takes a long time to burn it off. All right. So that's number one. Carbs burn the fastest, and then your body has to store it. Protein moves the second. Now, here's the thing about protein. You need protein. Your body cannot make protein. It needs those amino acids from the protein, from wherever you're getting your protein source. If you're a vegetarian or a vegan, or you're a carnivore, or you're a keto, if you're doing ketovore, if you're doing keto, you need protein. Your body cannot make protein. It can't. You have to put that into your body. And then there's fat. Now, people say, well, I eat nuts. Well, but if you look at nuts and you look at the ingredients and you look at the nutritional facts, look at the back of the container. It is carbohydrates as well. So nuts are can be a high carb because it's easy to eat handful of nuts. You start eating like cashews, like I could eat a whole bowl full. You'll start to feel full, but I could eat lots, and there's lots of carbohydrates in there. So think of fats as like oils, your butters, things like that. Nuts are still fat, but you think about the oils. That's where you're going to get those fats from. Okay, so that burns the slowest. That burns the slowest. So your body, just like as it's using it, and so the way I eat. So people will have asked me, how do you eat and what do you eat in a day, Nicole? I eat fat and protein. Minimal carbs. I hardly ever eat carbs. And people will think, well, how do you do that you need glucose? Yeah, my body produces glucose, no problem, from protein and from the fat. There is glucose. And I've worn a continual glucose monitor so I can see what my glucose numbers are. And I know where I sit. So I know what my body's producing. So when you take that into account and it's like, well, how are you exercising? How are you doing? You need carbohydrates. And it's like at one point in my life, and I mean, we go through these things and we make changes, right? It's like, we don't know everything until we know more. And as we go through life, we'll make different changes that are conducive to our lifestyle at that moment. And I mean, I don't ever tell people, you need to do it this way. this is the only way to do it. No, you do what works the best for you. Like, I'm just sharing my information. This is not like, this is it. This is just me discussing. You got to figure out your path and what works for you. I'm just giving you advice, or just information. Many years ago, when I was doing CrossFit, I ate so many carbohydrates, like so many carbohydrates. So you think about this. In a day, I would have probably about 250 grams of carbohydrates and very low fat, because you can't do high fat, high carbs. That's a recipe for disaster. Thank you so much. Okay, so you can't do both. You have to do one or the other. Got to balance it out. If you have high fat, high carbs, and you have like high protein, you are looking at a recipe for disaster, my friends. Okay, so now in what I've learned over the last 2 years, there is something called insulin resistance. Okay, so insulin resistance is, now this is just a quick breakdown. It's nothing into like scientific. I'm just going to say, every time you eat and you eat carbohydrates, your glucose goes up. Every time we eat, our glucose goes up. Your insulin has to come in to counteract what's going on. So it has to help balance it out. That's why when we're diabetic, your body doesn't produce insulin. You need to take insulin. Okay. So over time, and I mean, I'm 53 and I've had a long time of eating a lot of carbs. I mean, I remember growing up and I would go to my grandma's house and I would have white bread with toasted with butter, margarine, wasn't even butter, and sugar, white sugar, lots of white sugar. And then I would have my tea with tablespoons of sugar, and then sugary cereals and pop and cookies and like you name it, I had it. Like I did. I think we can all understand that. Think about that. So all that sugar, all those problems. So what happens is with insulin resistance, the older we get, eventually your body goes, your insulin goes, I'm tired, dude. Like you've been wearing me out. I need a break. And so insulin takes a step back, and then our glucose keeps rising. And then all of a sudden you become, you go to see your doctor and they're like, we did a fasting glucose test and your glucose is pretty high and you're like on the range of going to type 2 diabetes. Yeah. And you can be a really thin person. You don't even have to be like way overweight or just a little bit overweight. You can be thin and you could be on insulin and metformin and whatever other medications you need to be on. Mm-hmm. And I look at the damage that I've caused over those years. Eating like, it really actually bothers me when I think about how much I put into my body and the damage that I caused. I can't change it. I can just move forward and I can make changes. So I need to do stuff today that my future self was going to look back and go, thank you for doing something different, Nicole. Thank you for waking up and making a change, because you were on a bad path. You think about how type 2 diabetes and obesity and Alzheimer's and dementia are on the rise, heart disease. And I'm not sitting here and saying to people like that, if you want to live your life the way you're living it, then do what works the best for you. I don't judge I mean, I don't sit there and go, oh my God, can you believe that person was, no, if that's what it is okay in your life, then do that. But when I wake up in the morning and I've been eating really garbage, like I don't feel good. And I'm tired of not feeling good. Like, are you happy with how you feel? Like, do you wake up in the morning and go, I feel great today. I feel refreshed. I have this clear mind. I'm not bloated today. I'm like wide awake. I'm crystal clear in my mind. Or do you feel sluggish? Are you tired? Are you just like waking up and going, I'm just tired. I just don't know what to do. But I don't know what to do, so I'm going to do nothing. And it's too hard. I'll tell you what's not too hard, okay? So we can do difficult things today. So I can give you some pointers on what you can do and it's difficult. And it's like, oh my gosh, that's really hard. Like, I can't do that. I can't take that out. I like that food too much. I like my this and I like my that, and now I'm going to eat that stuff. Okay, that's fine. All right. Okay, so keep doing what you're doing. Okay, now, but here's the situation. I'm going to give you this situation. You have a heart attack. You have a stroke. Your type 2 diabetes. Okay, so now you've had these problems, or you have high blood. Let's just back it. You have high blood pressure now. You go to the doctor and, oh, the doctor's like, that blood pressure's up pretty high. We better give you a prescription for your high blood pressure. There you go. Now it's like, oh, your glucose is off the, we need to give you a prescription for something to protect your insulin and create some, here you go. You know, it's like I can't get on, my knees hurt, my arms hurt, and my body hurts, and I can't get up and down. Well, here's another prescription for that. Make time for, you'll have to make time. We'll make time for that. We'll have to take those pills every day. Wouldn't you rather do something now? Like, honestly, be honest with yourself. Would you not rather do something now so that you don't have inflammation in your body and you can actually move, and that you can get up with your grandkids or your children or your partner or whoever and get moving and get out and do stuff? Or are you happy with where you're at? I'm not satisfied. So I do things that really affect my future. I'm doing good things, and I know that because I can attest by how I feel and how I look. I look in the mirror and I literally, there is no filter on here, and I look at my skin, and I'm 53, and I look back at pictures, and I was like the strength, that line in here, you know, the what the hell, what the heck, those lines here, I call them my L, like whatever they're called. This is softened. Of course, I'm using nutrition, like skincare, to help with that. But somebody once looked at me and they're like, "Did you get Botox?" I'm like, "Nope, I didn't." I said, "I've had it done. I'll be full disclosure, I had it done a year ago. So I haven't had it done since a year." And so the skincare that I use and the nutrition that I am doing, getting rid of the inflammation, my skin is like, I look in the, and my skin glows. Like, I feel great. At 53, I'm like, I'm not dry and I'm not dry and pasty anymore, because I have been. Now it's like this glowing feel. So that's by what I'm putting in my body and on my body. So what we want to think and concentrate on is, what are we putting, hello, good morning, into our bodies? How many carbohydrates are you eating in a day? How many fats? How many proteins? How many times a day are you eating? Okay. So remember way back when, so like the ones that are here with me that are 53 or 50s that understand this, maybe a little bit younger, or you've heard this, you need to eat more times a day, because the more times a day, your metabolism will go up. You need to eat all day long. Remember that? Have 3 meals and 3 snacks or 2 snacks or whatever, because we want to increase our metabolism. Who heard that? Who ever heard that? Who did that? I remember doing that, like nonstop. Okay, now here's something interesting. I don't know if you know this or not, but every time you eat, your insulin kicks in. Your glucose goes up and your insulin kicks in to fix it. Okay, so it needs to kick in. So every time our insulin goes up, it ages us. And I am learning all this stuff, and I love sharing this information with what I've learned. Every time your insulin goes up, it ages you. So think about this. If you keep on eating all the time, your insulin keeps on going up. If you have glucose spikes, it's causing damage to the inside of your body and causing damage to your arteries and your blood, all of it, every time. But we were told breakfast is the most important meal of the day. Nicole, everybody, we knew, like, that's the most important meal of the day is your breakfast. You got to eat your breakfast. You got to get your oatmeal, and you got to have your berries, and you got to have your orange juice, and you need some blah, 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 blah. Did you know orange juice is one of the things that orange juice will spike your glucose like sky high? It's full of sugar. Eat an orange if you're going to eat something. Eat an orange. Grapes are the same thing. They've made them, grapes have been genetically modified. They're not just the way they grow. They've been changed to make them sweeter. And they will sky high rocket your glucose. Mm-hmm. So now I'm eating all these carbs because I'm going to have this fruit salad for breakfast. And the thing is, I've done all this. I've done all of these things. And I shake my head when I think about what I've done and what I've done to my body and how I'm trying to reverse all these things because I don't want to be on high blood pressure medication anymore. I am on a half a dose, a small dose of high blood pressure medication because of what I've done to my body. I thought it was my, and back when I thought it was my thyroid that caused my blood pressure to go up. I believe it has to do with my insulin. I believe now, looking back, because of what I know now, it has to do with my insulin and that I was causing issues. So what I have learned is, okay, here's something else. I don't know if you know this or not, but when we have high blood pressure and you're on medication, doctors will tell us, please watch your salt intake. When they give you that, like if you have high blood pressure, watch your sodium intake. You can go and find this out. It's information I'm just sharing. What I didn't know and what I've learned is this. When I eat too many carbohydrates, and your body will hold on to salt in your kidneys. It's because that's where think about this. So my kidneys are holding on to all that salt. When insulin goes up, your kidneys hold on to the sodium. And that's causing your blood pressure to go up. Now, when you go to the doctor, do they say to you, watch your carbohydrates. Watch how many you're eating because that can affect this. I've never been told that. I've actually never gone into the doctor. When I sat down, the one day when I went in to see him 2 years ago, he looked at me and he's like, "You're looking really good." I'm like, "Thanks." Yeah, and I'm like just sitting there and I'm just glowing because I had changed my nutrition. I had changed it. And I changed it to carnivore. So I was eating meat and eggs and fat, and that was it. No vegetables, no fruit. No. And I was nervous to tell him what I was doing, but he was really impressed with what was going on. And I said, I switched to carnivore. Oh, he goes, that's a really good way to eat. He goes, you don't need to have all those carbs. Well, I'm just sitting up like a peacock because I'm so excited that he's like, this is good. I'm like, okay. And then I switched over to desiccated thyroid medication. He checked, and people will say, what about your cholesterol? You got to watch that cholesterol. Okay, so we tested me. So I started carnivore 2 years ago, actually, right about now, 2 years ago. He checked my cholesterol in October of 2023, and it was at 8.44. And I'd only been doing carnivore for a couple months. I don't take a statin. I did not go on a statin medication. There is no way I'm taking that. And then we tested it again a year and a half later, because we don't test all the time. It's come down to 5.14. That's almost half. Almost, like not quite, but close. And that's from eating meat and fat. It's crazy, isn't it? I just get I'm very passionate about this. And I want to help people. This is this is like, I want to share my knowledge with you. That's why I'm here live. This is why I share this information with you. Because I think it's so important and people don't, like there's people that go, oh, I didn't know that. And a lot of people don't know it. And I found out that I am intolerant to eggs. I can't have eggs. I found this out just a little while ago. And so I had a food intolerance test done. And they take a little blood, and it's called the Carroll Food Intolerance Test. And it tells you what you can't have. And it's like, I took eggs out, and that was the only thing. And that was like, I was eating so many eggs. And so I've had people say, well, couldn't you put them back in eventually? No, because it's actually genetic. This is genetic. This isn't a sensitivity, and this isn't an allergy. It's a genetic thing. So guess what? My body will never be able to have them. I was having issues with my hands, really bad eczema. Like it was bad. I am not putting a steroid cream on just to mask it. I want to know what the heck is going on and why is it not healed? It was eggs. I took eggs out. A week later, I already noticed a difference in my hands. It's crazy. It's crazy. So instead of us going and getting this prescription to fix a symptom, I want to get to the root of the problem. I want to know why. I want to know how I can fix this. I don't want to mask it. It's like putting on blinders. I'm putting on a blindfold so I can't see. That's what meds do. There is medication we need to take. Yes, do I need to take a high blood pressure medication, a little piece, a little half? Absolutely I do. Am I working really hard to stay at where I'm at? Absolutely. I want all the inflammation to be gone from my body. I don't want to have inflammation. I don't want to have visceral fat. Visceral fat is that thing, that fat that surrounds your organs. Now you can be super thin or super muscular and be loaded with visceral fat. Doesn't mean just because of somebody could be a larger person and have no visceral fat. Somebody could be super thin, have loads of visceral fat. And the only one you'll ever know that is if you have an MRI done. And here where I'm from, I'm in Canada actually, and it's not easy to just go up to the, I want to get an MRI. No, we can't do that here. We don't get to do that here. But I would like to have one done. I'd like to know. So I'm doing the things to help my body the most I possibly can. So the other thing that I'm gonna kind of touch on is fasting. Let's touch a little bit. I guess I touched on how I eat. I eat protein and fat. Okay, so my fat that I eat, I consume butter. I consume avocado oil, olive oil, tallow. Tallow it comes from rendered beef fat. And it's they render it down, and then you can use it for cooking, you can use it for frying, and put it in whatever. You can actually get tallow that's infused with things. That is a really good fat. Really good fat. Your body can use it. Also butter. I use a lot of butter. A lot of butter. I love butter. I literally will eat it. It's so good. So that would be what I eat. I have the only things that I have carb related would be blueberries or blackberries. I keep with the berries because the berries are lower. I will have a green apple, but mostly my day is consumed of the fat and the protein. And protein, I have beef, I have pork, I have chicken, bacon. I always say bacon. Bacon's a pork, but whatever. Turkey, things like that. And fish. Lots of fish. So that's what I do in a day. Now, I don't eat all day long. I do fasting. I do intermittent fasting and longer term fasting. Now, what I've learned about fasting, and there's a lot of information out there about fasting. Your body has all this stored stuff. It has stored stuff. It's there. It's just hanging out, and it's sitting. Why are we not using it as energy and use it? Well, I'll have this conversation with people, and they'll be like, "No, I can't do that. I can't fast because I'll get hangry." Okay, well, I understand that because I used to be really hangry. If I didn't get to eat, my kids ran. I was losing my banana, just losing it because I was hungry. And that hangry, your sugar crashes and then you're fiending for food. You need to eat. I don't have that anymore. So I finished. I switch it up and back and forth. So there's a couple things I'm going to share with you, a couple books I'm going to share with you today about the ones that I find very helpful. Number one is called Fast Like a Girl, Dr. Mindy Powell's. And it's backwards, I apologize. But it's Dr. Mindy Powell's that talks about fasting and the benefits of fasting. It actually goes into with women. Sorry, guys. With women, it talks about our hormones and it explains different types of fasting protocols that you can take dependent on what you're dealing with. If you're dealing with, say, autoimmune, or you're dealing with what else could you be dealing with? Infertility. There's all different. She has a bunch of different fasting in here, and she shows you different ways to cycle it. And depending, like I said, wherever you're at and what you're trying to heal, great book, Dr. Mindy Powell's. There's thyroid fasting and autoimmune, like rheumatoid arthritis, lupus, Hashimoto's, PCOS, types of that, infertility for fasting. Chronic fatigue, type 2 diabetes, mental, brain health. So it's all different fasting protocols. And so it goes from, say, you can start on the first day of how many hours do you fast? What time do you fast? Okay. Hey, Julie, thanks for that question. All right. So I just finished a 30-day metabolic reset fast. I'm gonna go back to that question. And I followed this book. This gentleman, his name is Ben Azadi, and he has Metabolic Freedom. So that's another good book. It's a 30-day fast routine guide, 30-day guide. So I went into the advanced and it changed. So my fasting through the 3 months, or through the 30 days, not 3 months, it was kind of a different protocol. I just want to find it actually, and I'm going to explain it to you. Hold on one second. Hold on. So because I've done fasting for a long time, and this has been 2.5 years that I've been doing it, I was doing the advanced fasting. So now there's different times that you can do different fasts. If you're following Dr. Mindy Pell's fast, so that's like the fast like a girl way, which kind of they interrelate. Maybe you could do one and then the next. It's going to go based on the hormone cycle. All right, so you have from day 1 to day whatever you're doing this many hour fast. So this is what I did. I'm going to go to the page. So I was in this the first part of the fast for fat adaptation. Now this is advanced. This is something that's been fasting for a long time. Day 1 to day 4 is autophagy fasting. So, is 18 hours. So yeah, that you set that clock and you're only having that 6-hour eating window, and then you're fasting for 18 hours. Then days 5 and 6, you're doing a 24-hour fast. So having one meal and then go right back into fasting for 24 hours. That's your gut reset. Dr. Mindy Pell talks about that, gut reset. Okay, the microbiome and helping your gut to reset and going again. And then the days 7 to 13 was alternating between autophagy fasting, which is 18 hours, and metabolic fasting, 20 hours. So I was going back and forth. Number 3 was metabolic rebuilding phase. So day 14 to 20, I was doing 20 hours and 24. So back and forth to 20 to 24. And then the last phase was the metabolic flexing phase. So now that's the day. There was a day in there where I had to increase my carbohydrates between 100 to 150 grams of carbohydrates. That's a lot. And ate 3 meals a day. And you're only fasting like between 20 hours. 12-hour window, that's your fasting day where you're having all the like more glucose, and then going into 24-hour fast. So I have a different schedule. It all depends on what your goals are and what you're trying to achieve. So if there's different types of fasts. So you have to kind of play around and see what works. If you are just starting on the fasting, you want to start maybe with intermittent fasting. So his breakdown in here, if we get into this part here, just wait a second, hold on. I like to go into this because it's much easier that way, and then I can share with you this way. So his recommendations, so days 1 to 6, if you're just starting out with fasting, days 1 to 4, this is your fat up to date. So it's like 12-hour fast, 12 to 14 hours. Okay. And then you're getting into, I didn't even read this one because it wasn't important. 18-hour fast, and then 18-hour fast. So just start out by just starting. Fine. Try to go 12 hours without eating. Don't eat. Oh, excuse me. Try 12 hours, add in 14s. If you want to go into like this book and go to Dr. Mindy Pell's, she actually breaks it down for you. She breaks it down and she shows you the fasting cycle dependent on your body. For women that are still have their cycles, she actually shows you in here what your fasting windows are. So, I mean, there's different phases that she shows. So if you get into these books, like you have your days 1 to 10 is your power phase, and then you have ovulation, and then you're going into the power phase, and then the nurture phase. So there's all different things, and it depends on what your body is going through. And like I said, in her book, she gives the fasts that are based on, say, what state or what you're trying to heal. I just finished yesterday. I had fasted I was going to do a 36-hour fast, and then I kept going. So I went to 44 hours. went to 44 hours. And I'll make sure I drink electrolytes. That's another thing. Remember to drink electrolytes. Not with sugar in it. I use LMNT, I think it's called, or Element. I don't know how they say it. And I use a Relight is another one that I really like. Redmond Relight. So those are just a little things, like few tips. Check how many times a day you're eating. Look at how many carbohydrates you're ingesting. Look at the fat. Seed oils, canola, palm oil, cottonseed oil. So like all those oils, they are bad. Hydrogenated palm oil, hydrogenated cottonseed. Like, I want you to look at the ingredients and what you're eating. And you know, when we grew up, when we were younger, there was only maybe 5 ingredients on the back. Not now. It's full. It's full of bad stuff. Do something today that your future self will thank you for. Remember that. It is so vital and so important. Look at your nutritional, you can get the app. It's called Chronometer app. CHROMETER, Chronometer, whatever. CHR. Take a look for that. Keep track of what you're eating for carbs. Understand what you're having and know that your body can only process so much. Otherwise, it turns to fat. So for those of you that are going, well, I just want to lose my belly fat. What are you putting in your body? You can go and get a prescription for a certain drug to get rid of fat, but you know what? Your body is going to, it can do it itself. Stop eating so much crap. Stop. It's doing nothing for you, doing nothing good for you. It's just damaging you. And what's more important? That satisfaction. It's a do you realize that's a dopamine hit? So when you eat carbs, when you eat sugar, your dopamines go up. And then it's like you crash, you need more dopamine hit. It's an addiction. What brand? Do I get unsalted butter? I get both. I like both. Sometimes I like the salted one and I get the unsalted one. I find, like, because I'm here, I go to Costco, I go to Kirkland. I'll try and get a more organic butter if possible. That would be the one that I would get. Anything or if you can get organic. I go to Costco and get the Kirkland one. Sometimes I get the New Zealand one. That's really good stuff. Get that. Yep. So it's definitely, thanks for all the questions too. I appreciate the questions. If you have questions, I love answering them. Another thing that you want to think about is that type 3, and I'll get one more thing here. Alzheimer's and dementia are now going to be considered, are called type 3 diabetes. So what does that mean? Type 3 diabetes, that means it's being caused by with something to do with your insulin. This thing up in here, in your head, your brain, it needs cholesterol. Did you know that? It needs cholesterol. Because I want you to think back to when you gave your baby, say you're nursing your child and breastfeeding your child, that's cholesterol, it's a cholesterol. Your baby needs cholesterol. It's for their brains to grow. The damage comes from inflammation. So when you have inflammation in your arteries, that's when things stick. So you have inflammation. The inside of your arteries is called the endothelial layer. Okay, it's a smooth lining, and there's something called nitric oxide. Okay, that keeps it smooth. So here's a hot tip for you. Did you know that, say, Viagra was actually a vasodilator for blood, for your hearts, and they found out it did something else? But you have inflammation inside the arteries. You want them to be smooth like Teflon. So things pass. When they get sticky, things stick and then break off. So that's why you want to keep that inflammation down inside your arteries, because everything has it goes. It's like a snowball effect. One thing adds to this thing, to this thing, to this thing, to this thing. And then all of a sudden you're on all this medication. Isn't that crazy? I really appreciate everybody being here today. 2 books, like I said, these 2 books I recommend. the Fast Like a Girl, Dr. Minnie Pels, and the Zeben Azadi, Metabolic Freedom. Highly recommend you getting these books. So, on that note, thank you so much for joining in. I need to fly because I have some stuff I want to go do. I'm going to go and have a coffee. And I appreciate you all for joining in, and thank you for interacting and being here today. Much love to you all. Cheers. And let's talk again, because I love these conversations and I love sharing the information and the knowledge that I have. Like I said in the beginning, this is not that you don't just change what you're doing because of what I said. That is not what this is about. This is my journey, and these are the things that work for me. And I'm just sharing them with you. You're so welcome, Julie. I'm just sharing that information with you. You have to do what works best for you, always. All right, so have a great day. Much love. Cheers, and I'll see you again. Have a great day. Bye. Bye.